Welcome back to the dumbest bill in America. We have with us, of course, Delegate Brian Chisholm. Welcome back, Brian.
Good to be back.
And folks, get this. We're calling this podcast More Rigging because the Democrats are at it again, and so is Governor Moore, Brian. We have a clip, and here it is.
Well, the status in Maryland is that we are going to have a special session.
You are going to do it.
We are going to do it. I'm going to call a special session.
So, Brian, what do you think about this?
Well, God forbid we have this one lonely Republican out there. I mean, we're already in a supermajority state, right?
But what are they trying to do, first of all?
They're trying to, well, what he's trying to do is
He being the Governor Moore and
Governor
the Democrats.
Moore
Okay.
is trying to elevate himself to Pennsylvania Avenue is exactly what he's trying to do. So he's trying to figure out, all right, how do I get more Democrats there? There's one lonely Republican here in the state of Maryland. It's Andy Harris. He's like our bellwether Republican who represents over 1 million Republicans plus independents. We are outnumbered 2-1, but they're so afraid of any sort of diversity of thought or diversity of ideas. And Andy Harris brings that, right? He's the one guy that actually says, no, this is not going to work. We know that your track record there in the state of Maryland, if you screwed up everything, Andy's like, maybe you should try something different. But they don't want to hear that. They want Andy gone because they want nothing but total dominance. And you and I have felt this ourselves. They don't like when somebody actually stands up against them. And Andy Harris has been that. And not just that, Andy Harris is a pretty powerful guy in Congress.
He is.
He
yes.
holds the purse strings. He's
the head of the Freedom Caucus.
That's exactly right. And they hate him for that.
They do.
So Governor Moore's decided, well, let's double down. Let's call everybody back to session in the middle of summer, Mark. Call us all back. By the way, taxpayers, you're paying for this, for us to go sit there for 3 hours in this kabuki theater of debate where they're going to pass whatever freaking map they are. Actually, what they're doing is they're changing the Constitution.
Yeah.
The Constitution lays out a certain way.
So let's talk about this for a minute. So we're calling this More Rigging, this podcast, because this takes gerrymandering to a new level, right,
Yes.
Brian? And podcast listeners, here's what they're doing. They're changing the Constitution, the Democrats and Governor Moore, in an election year. And in addition to that, remember, in an election year, you're changing the very document by which we all live by. And you're saying, well, I'm going to change that document because I can. I'm going to do it during an election year to rig the system. And I'm going to notify you. And here's the other thing, Brian. The Speaker of the House and the Senate President notified the legislature that you have to keep the 16th to the 18th of July free, as well as the 3rd to the 5th of August free for special sessions. And they're not sure which, who knows, it could be both. And you can't, we're in an election year.
Yep.
You can't raise money during a special session, okay? You can't raise money during a session. Those are good rules. But the Democrats are effectively shutting down the entire Republican Party from being able to raise money, to be able to advertise, from campaigning, obviously. It is literally election interference by the Speaker and by the Senate President and by this is election interference, literally election interference. Changing the Constitution, that's rigging. So Brian, go ahead.
And that's an excellent point that I didn't think about because there's so many other things wrong with this idea. But if you think about it, Mark, in the state of Maryland, that's August 3rd is exactly 90 days from Election Day. Now we bring in mail-in ballots. People are going to be getting ballots pretty soon after that. I don't know how soon they get them, but it's within 30 days because I think you start to get them in September. Mm-hmm. So now you're getting ballots and we're changing the Constitution on which you're supposed to be casting this ballot. And here's what they want to change. Right now, the Maryland Constitution says, well, they got to be contiguous and compact, meaning the people that represent you should live by you and live within certain boundaries.
But they don't want that now.
They don't want that. We want to be able to draw all the squiggly lines we want so that we can entrap as many different Republicans into Democrat areas. Mm-hmm. So you have to live under this Democrat rule.
And cheat.
It is totally cheating, and everybody agrees with that on both sides. But they're like, we don't care. Governor Moore is so desperate because Newsom is kicking his ass that he's like, Oprah told me it was going to be a lot harder than this.
What's the Democrat part? Look, it's all the Democrats in the legislature too. Brian, he played baseball like his whole life, and we got this base. Imagine changing the rules in the middle of a baseball game. right? That's just like what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the rules in the middle of an election year. Go ahead, Brian. Final
Well, to your
thoughts.
point, they're changing the rules in the 8th inning, to favor themselves. Well, things aren't going well for us. Let me change. We're now going to get 6 outs. You get 1. Or they might change it altogether. We get as many outs as we want because that's what they want, right?
Yep.
They want zero pushback at all. They don't want an Andy Harris. They don't want an R.
Yep.
They want to act like the state of Maryland doesn't have a single R. The diversity through total dominance is what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They love to talk about diversity, but only on the Democrat side.
Yep.
And it's hence why we have so many people moving out of this state. They're taking their money, and the governor's eyes are squarely on Pennsylvania Avenue. And it hasn't, look, let's finish with this because I'm mad about this now.
Really?
We have people that can't afford to pay their electric bill.
Right.
We have people that can't afford to pay their rent. We have people that can't afford to register their freaking cars. And what are we going back for? So we can rig a map.
Mm-hmm. And so it's not just election rigging, it's also full-blown election interference by the Democrat Party during an election year to change the Constitution and mess up people's schedules for fundraising and campaigning. It's all intentional. That's the dumbest bill in America. We'll see you next time.